This is ABC15 Mornings.
State leaders hard at work making the COVID vaccine more available here in Arizona. Some things to consider, though, when you're making an appointment.
And he will forever be remembered for his mighty swing. We're taking a look back at the life and legacy of a baseball legend that made history both on and off the diamond.
Man, what a loss, but what a life. Working from home has changed many of our day-to-day routines, certainly, hasn't it? But how has it impacted your overall health over the last 10 months? We have some advice for you this morning on how to adjust, and it can take you just 40 seconds at times to make that change and improve your health. So we want to help you out, put a smile on your face, and of course keep you informed on this Saturday morning as we come up on 6 o'clock. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Mark Thompson, and Nohe, I am hoping that we get some of that rain tonight, because just hearing the rain on my window makes for some good sleeping weather. So maybe I can get a good night's sleep if it rains.
Absolutely. You know, I was actually talking to a gal in the doctor's office the other day, and she said, I feel like I'm getting a little depressed with the sun. I know it's a ridiculous problem to have, but I really would like some rain and some cloudy weather. So we're going to deliver this weekend. Mother Nature is working on it. So let me show you what our desert Doppler radar looks like right now. Cloudy here in the valley. We had some lingering overnight showers, just a sprinkle or two that are pretty much gone. You might pick up just a splat or two on your windshield if you're up in the Fountain Hills area, but otherwise we're dry. However, snow levels have started to drop just north of Payson and the White Mountains area heading into Flagstaff. Right now it's still a higher snow elevation, but those snow levels will be dropping as we move through the rest of the afternoon. So here in Phoenix, I think we stay mostly dry. We could pick up a stray shower here or there at the lunchtime hour, but the bulk of this rain looks to move in closer to the evening hours, and it starts to push off to the north as more snow starts to build across the high country this evening around dinner time, and really gets treacherous for travel as we head into those overnight hours across the high country. Right now in the valley, because of those clouds, we're pretty mild out there in the low to mid 50s across the valley. 52 in Mesa, 53 in Glendale, mid 50s in Phoenix, Chandler, and Avondale. It will be a cooler day because of those clouds and those rain chances, so we'll talk about that coming up in that most accurate forecast.
No, hey, thank you. And we want to start with the very latest on the coronavirus pandemic. Arizona's numbers have been a mixed bag here lately. We're seeing week-to-week slowdowns in cases and hospitalizations, but Arizona just passed the 12,000 mark for COVID-19 deaths. And the focus now is on the vaccine rollout, which hasn't been perfect. Counties scrambling for more supply. All options are still on the table right now. ABC 15's Nicole Grigg asking leaders how they plan to fix it.
New information on vaccines in Arizona. First, the state is updating its website so people can find appointments easier by not having to click day by day. And starting today, if you get a vaccine at State Farm Stadium, you will sign up for the second dose before you leave.
I got my first dose on the 12th.
That's something Katie Weisner wishes she was able to do. She's a school psychologist and got her first dose of the vaccine through Maricopa County. But on Thursday, the county announcing they can't guarantee second doses right now because of a lack of supplies. Something Katie was worried would happen, so she went around the county and scheduled a second appointment at the state site.
I tried to follow what they told me to do, but I'm glad I didn't, based on the information that came out yesterday that was basically saying, well, we may not actually have the doses to distribute at those auxiliary pods that aren't the stadium.
Dr. Chris was asked about the county's warning they may not have enough for the second shots. She says that people can book appointments at other locations like State Farm Stadium since it would be the same brand. But we asked Dr. Christ, why would she tell more people to look for appointments when they're all booked?
What we're hoping to be able to do is, as we get additional doses, we are going to try and open up more appointments. So say next week they come up with the 300,000 additional doses that we ask. We're not going to wait until February or whenever that comes. We're going to start opening up appointments, but we will make announcements as we do that.
We're also learning that states like Arizona may soon be able to buy Pfizer vaccines directly from the company. So Dr. Chris was asked about that today as well.
that could be exciting. I know that some of the funding that we've gotten, like from CDC for vaccination efforts, prohibits us using our funding for the sale or for the purchase of vaccines. So it's something that we're looking at, and it could potentially add additional doses.
It all comes down to supply. The state should receive around 169,000 next week, but they're asking the feds for an additional 300,000.
We have been advocating for over a week to get these requests. I know that they are looking at State Farm as kind of a model for the 24/7 vaccination site. I just think that they're dealing with vaccine limitations across the country.
So continue to check the state's website for appointments and know there is hope. More are coming. Reporting in Phoenix, Nicole Grigg, ABC 15, Arizona.
And struggles with the vaccine are not just happening here in Arizona. This is a problem nationwide. In fact, senior members of the president's health team say that they hope supplies will increase in the coming months nationwide. Speaking before an audience of U.S. mayors, the president's nominee for Surgeon General Vivek Murthy said that all efforts will be made to ramp up supplies in the U.S., which is the world's highest death toll leader, over 410,000 deaths here. And this is an ambitious effort by the new administration to conquer the coronavirus. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that a lack of candor about the threat under the former administration probably cost some lives.
That science and truth is going to rule. And when and Vivek just sort of alluded to that, we don't have everything perfect right now, and we are going to make some missteps. But when we do make missteps, what we're going to do is try and correct them. We're not going to blame anybody. We're not going to ignore them. We're not going to make out that they're going to disappear. We're going to try and fix them. Science and truth is going to...
Fauci, who was sidelined by former President Trump, is now the chief medical advisor to new President Joe Biden.
And speaking of the new administration, it's also working to help Americans impacted financially by the pandemic. President Biden signed executive orders yesterday helping to feed families, laying the groundwork to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour for federal workers. He's also calling on Congress for an additional $1,400 direct payment to some Americans. The president will need Congress to deliver his nearly $2 trillion rescue package, all while they deal with former President Trump's impeachment.
And the impeachment trial for former President Donald Trump, it is set to begin February 8th. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announcing that schedule last night. The trial on one charge of incitement of insurrection will get started with opening arguments. So why wait until February? The Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell wanted to postpone it until then to give the former president time to prepare his case.
Meantime, happening today, the Arizona Republican Party expected to vote on several resolutions. Party officials say they will vote on censoring Governor Ducey, former Senator Jeff Flake, and the widow of Senator John McCain. Ducey targeted for allegedly overstepping his bounds to manage the coronavirus crisis. As for Flake and Cindy McCain, some members are upset that they endorsed Joe Biden for president. All three did attend President Biden's inauguration, even taking this picture together. You see it there. None of them have expressed any concern, by the way, about what is otherwise a symbolic vote.
And developing this morning, Phoenix fire crews battling a fire overnight. This was near 15th Avenue and Monroe. We're told that nearly 50 firefighters were called to that scene to help stop the flames from spreading to other homes. Fortunately, no one was injured, and the cause of this fire is still under investigation this morning.
Time now 6:09. Let's talk about that most accurate forecast. If you like to get out and get your exercise in, you still can. We should be mostly dry here in these morning hours. If you want to go for a run, you might encounter a spot or two where you can tell that some showers have passed through because they did linger overnight just a little bit in some areas, but otherwise you should see dry roads and cloudy conditions in the 50s for much of the day here, though, starting off in the 50s and staying there through the lunchtime hour. Going to take us until the middle of the afternoon to warm even into the 60s. As for the high country, different story. Cold and snow is already starting. We have winter weather advisories in effect all weekend long everywhere you see in purple. So that includes areas like Flagstaff, portions of Payson, and on down into Show Low. Eastern Arizona, east of Holbrook. We also have a wind advisory in effect until this evening. And then on the northwestern corner of our state, the area you see in blue near Kingman, that is a lake wind advisory that is in effect until Tuesday as part of a winter storm watch. And you could pick up gusts up to 40 miles an hour. We will talk more about these storms that are moving in and what it means as far as rainfall chances here in the valley, how much we're expecting. That's coming up in that full, most accurate forecast.
All right, 6:10 now on your Saturday morning. Coming up, the NFL awarding hardworking healthcare workers with the opportunity of a lifetime. Plus, remembering the life of a legendary athlete who overcame so much, including racism and death threats, while still smashing records on the baseball field.
Thanks for watching ABC15 Arizona, streaming 24/7 on Roku and these streaming devices.
Welcome back, everybody across the nation. People across the country, they continue to mourn, but also celebrate the life and legacy of Hall of Fame baseball player Hank Aaron, who not only dominated on the field, but was also a champion for civil rights. Off of it, here's ABC's Steve Osasami with more.
He will forever be remembered for this mighty swing.
Straight away. Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone.
That helped replace a white man with a black man in the record books. This was the call that night in Georgia in 1974 when Hank Aaron slugged his way past the legendary Babe Ruth with 715 career home runs, and his record of 755 would stand for 30 long years.
A black man is getting a standing ovation in the Deep South for breaking a record of an all-time baseball idol.
But it needs to be said that Hank Aaron overcame a whole lot more than a baseball record. He was heckled by racist white fans and players. People were promising to kidnap his children, and the death threats came pouring in the mail.
I couldn't open a letter for a month. It had to be opened by the FBI or somebody else, I couldn't let that stand in my way.
Henry Louis Aaron grew up poor in Alabama, where he had to make his own baseball bats with tree limbs. It was when black athletes were lucky if they could make it to the Negro Leagues, which were separate and certainly not equal to the majors.
I played with some ball players that knew how to play the game, and they taught me an awful lot.
Mr. Aaron was unshakable, living up to the great responsibility he felt for how he represented black Americans. He became a successful businessman, gave millions to schools and charities, and just weeks ago was part of an effort encouraging black Americans to get vaccinated for the coronavirus.
It's just a small thing that can help zillions of people in this country.
In his later years, he would often say that he wanted to be remembered most for the lives he helped change.
And that was Steve Osasami reporting out of Atlanta, Georgia. Well, one of the biggest sporting events every year is, of course, the Super Bowl, and some healthcare workers out of Florida received a surprise invite from the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell.
To be our guest at the Super Bowl.
Goodell crashing a team Zoom meeting to announce the free invitation there. That group, among 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers from all 32 NFL cities, will get free tickets. However, most of them are from the Tampa Bay area. A total of 22,000 people will be at the big game, still way more than recommended by most medical professionals. But the NFL says that they're taking every precaution to keep that game safe, and they point out that the game is outdoors.
Well, and with all of them being vaccinated, it's a nice preview into the future of normalcy that could be headed our way, and well deserved for all of our healthcare heroes. So cool. All right, let's talk about that most accurate forecast. I know a lot of you are going to be watching the finals of football this weekend, and it's going to be a good weekend to settle in and do that, especially on Sunday. So right now, clouds and radar showing us we do have a few showers in the Tonto Basin area, areas of Payson and out near Horseshoe River. North of there, moving into Heber and just along the White Mountains there up on into Flagstaff. We are starting to pick up some snow at this hour, still in the higher elevations, but those snow levels will be dropping. So we've got back-to-back storms here today into tomorrow, and then again Monday into Tuesday. First storm going to drop those snow levels to about 4,000 feet by tomorrow. That is the Flagstaff, Williams, Page, and Show Low areas, as well as Pine. Then on Tuesday, we're dropping to 2,000 to 3,000 feet. That's areas like Cordes Lake, Bumblebee. We could even see some snow flurries in areas like Carefree and Cave Creek north of the valley here. In Flagstaff this weekend, that first snowstorm going to bring 7 to 11 inches of snow, and then we likely will pick up an additional foot by Tuesday. Then we've got rain chances to talk about here in the valley. So early this morning, there were still a few splats on the windshield here or there holding out from overnight, but the next big storm looks to move in tonight and into tomorrow here in the valley. We could be picking up about a 1/4 inch of rain here in the valley as we move through Sunday. And then that second storm that comes in Monday and Tuesday could bring us another 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of rain. And as I mentioned, that light snow possible in areas like Carefree and Cave Creek. Our rain chances are going to stay pretty steady as we move through the beginning of the work week as well into Tuesday. And then they start to taper off with just some light chances as we move through the rest of the week. So the Futurecast model for the valley here shows us that at noon we could see a round of storms move in, likely west and north of the valley, but it could kick into portions of the valley, maybe the I-10 in the western portion of the valley. Then more likely rain starts to move in at 7 o'clock tonight into the valley. It builds in the overnight hours. We've got some heavy pockets that'll come in at about 10 o'clock and then again at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then when we wake up tomorrow, at 8 o'clock in the morning, it looks to be widespread rain chances across the valley and lingering through the afternoon and into the early evening hours. As for today, temperatures right now already at or below freezing across much of the high country as that snow starts. 30s in Show Low, Heber, and Flagstaff, as well as Kingman and Prescott. We've got 50s to our west as well as our south. Here in the valley, temperatures right now are in the low to mid 50s, pretty much valley wide. We only have one set of 40s up in Wickenburg at 48 degrees. As you step outside, you will notice the clouds right now, and they're going to linger through the day. Our temperatures will stay in the 50s for most of the afternoon, but we'll work our way into the 60s by about 1 o'clock, and we'll top out at 62 degrees. So we're now below the average for this time of year, but 62 looks to be that forecast high today in the valley. Across southern and western Arizona, more 60, 63 in Casa Grande as well as Yuma, 60 in Bullhead City. And then we're looking at the 40s across central Arizona and north of the rim, 40s, except for Flagstaff, we're staying in the 30s today because of those snow levels dropping. Our temperatures are going to take another dip as we move into Sunday. 50s will be that forecast high, and we're going to stay in the 50s through the middle of next week as that second round of storms moves in Monday and Tuesday. And then even once we start to dry out, second half of the week, we're still staying cooler in the 60s, right where we should be this time of year, and really crossing our fingers that we do get all that rain, Mark, because we sure do need it.
Yeah, that is for sure. No, hey, thank you so much. Still ahead, recreational marijuana now for sale here in Arizona. We're breaking down what is legal, what's not, and what you can expect at local dispensaries. But next, staying healthy while working from home, some great advice from an orthopedic surgeon. You don't want to miss that. That's straight ahead.
Well, the pandemic has forced a lot of Americans to start working from home, but that also puts us in a sort of a cycle where you go from your bedroom to your computer to the kitchen. We're simply not moving as much. So here to talk about how we can change that up this morning is Dr. Marcus Duda. He's an orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Duda, thank you so much for joining us.
No, hey, thank you for having me.
So let's talk first about some of the health implications here of suddenly switching to a sedentary lifestyle.
Well, it's causing a lot of problems with our health. we're sitting at home, we're drinking energy drinks, we're bumping up our sugars, we're clamping down our blood vessels, and our sedentary lifestyle now is really causing a lot of swelling in our legs. Some people are developing ulcers, some people are getting blood clots in their legs. So we really have to turn this around, and we've got to get back to being active people, and we can do this at home.
I think anybody who has started a diet plan at any time and has really been serious about it has been told that it's 20% activity, 80% diet. And so you're saying certainly changes in the kitchen play a role here.
Oh, absolutely. The two things that we want to try to do is, one, decrease the foods that are vasoconstrictive, things that are clamping down our arteries. And unfortunately, that means we got to get rid of our energy drinks and really cut back on our coffee. All the caffeine is clamping down in our arteries and giving us high blood pressure. It's decreasing the circulation to our extremities, even decreasing the circulation to our brain. So we've got to get rid of those vasoconstrictors.
And then there is a physical element as well. How can we encourage ourselves? What do we need to be doing to break it up so that it's not just stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down?
Well, the thing I've been doing is, I sit around a lot in the office, and every hour get up and do some stretching. I'll do toe raises next to the desk. I've got a little stool. I'll step up and down on the stool. So we've got to get the muscles moving again. And without them moving, we're not going to get any circulation going to our lower extremities. Just 40 seconds every hour, and you'll notice a big difference, and the benefits are huge.
The last thing, and it's kind of become the running joke of the pandemic, certainly for anybody who conducts business, say over Zoom calls, is it's business on top, pajamas on the bottom. But you're also saying that our wardrobe does contribute.
Absolutely. I've invented a compression sock called Vivewear, and it's made out of merino and alpaca wool, so it's comfortable. It's thermoregulatory, so it keeps you comfortable in all temperatures. And the graduated compression will improve your circulation up to 40% in your legs. It also has a nano silver and nano copper that, when it's exposed to your body fluid, it will generate a microcurrent that will stimulate your legs. And it'll also decrease that sock stink that we tend to get every once in a while.
And then finally, any signs that we should be looking for that signal, hey, I need to go get checked out by my doctor?
Absolutely. If you start getting some discoloration in your legs, any ulcers, any tenderness in your calf or your thigh, that's definitely a warning sign of developing blood clots. And these are critical to follow up very quickly.
Absolutely. All things that I think we take for granted because we have been given the ability to be at home more, but also have greatly changed the rest of our lifestyle and the ripple effects. So Dr. Duda, thank you so much for your suggestions this morning so that people really take control of their own health.
Thank you for having me.